Welcome back to Life Enrichment with Hank Ballinger. Today, I want to talk about the school system is broken. How do you succeed in life? Now, before you get upset if you're a teacher or administrator in the school system, listen to the whole video, okay? I don't want to make any teacher or any administrator upset. That is not the goal, okay? I want to make that point perfectly and vividly clear. Teachers and administrators do a great job in their jobs and in their respective fields. So, not the idea to make them upset, okay? They do a great job. Now, before we get into this, I would like to say thank you to those who have watched the channel and have contributed with many ideas and all your input. Very good. We appreciate it. If you like the content, if you could subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe, that would be great. We would greatly appreciate it. The idea for this whole channel is to help the average person be able to set goals, to accomplish those goals and achieve those goals, and to help them maybe get out of a rut if they're in a rut, or get out of the day-to-day, just the day-to-day life if that's not who they need to be. Maybe who they need to be is not who they are or who you are. If we can help with that, let us know. But we want people to be able to set goals, to be able to achieve those goals, and that's our idea in this channel. Now, one way that you can help out in that endeavor is if you could tell others about the channel, help them to subscribe, like the channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Now, as we get into this idea that the school system is broken, again, I just want to reiterate, have no problems with the teachers or the administrators. Great job, guys. But what I am saying is the system itself may need to be tweaked a little. How do you succeed in life? If I were to just ask anybody, you or anybody else, that question, how do you succeed in life? I would probably get a plethora of answers, probably a different answer for every person I asked. But how many people would say, well, a great education would help? Probably many. And I would agree. A good education is very important. But I think in today's time, maybe we're missing a key fundamental ingredient in the education system. And that's what I'm talking about today. So if we are going to succeed in life, I think we need to ask this question here. What do you want to do in life? Now, school systems teach a very rigid and a methodical system of subjects and ideas, but how many times do they say, well, what do you want to do? What's your goals in life? How do you achieve those goals? How can we help you achieve those goals? Generally not the way the system is set up. It's set up to give you a parameter of ideas and subjects, to give you some basic ideas, and then as you go out into the world, you have some basic ideas and some understanding of various topics so you can achieve it whatever you want. That's great, no problem. But we have to get into how do we solve this problem? How do we answer this? Do what you want to do. Are you doing what you want to do? Are you setting goals in your life and you say, hey, this would fulfill my life and help mankind? If you're doing that, great. But if you're not, maybe you could keep the job you have for right now and set those goals and accomplish those goals. And then in time, maybe get out of this job that maybe it just doesn't fulfill you. Maybe you can get into something that better suits you, who you are. Schools should teach many of the subjects that they are currently teaching. I'm not against the subjects. I'm not real keen on the woke agenda. I'm not keen on the alphabet soup agenda, but I am keen on entrepreneurship. Now, I think in the world that we are in today, we have got to teach entrepreneurship. And later on, as we get on over here, you'll see there's many avenues that we could go to teach entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship itself, just the idea, hey, when someone looks at the system, when Bill Gates looked at the system, he said, you know, computers are hard to maneuver. I can't figure them out, and probably others can, and let's make these easier for the average person to just be able to get on a computer and navigate right through it. And he did that. Steve Jobs said, well, let's actually come up with a computer that the average guy can have, and the PC that everybody can have, and navigate through that and work, and it does what they want it to do. And he came up with it. These guys have been royally rewarded for their efforts. You can be too. What do you want to do? Set goals, achieve those goals, push hard because you can achieve those goals. But in school, we have to have a good course on entrepreneurship. We need to motivate these young minds. We need to push them to the brink. Let them come up with ideas on their own, not ideas that I come up with or teachers or administrators. Needs to be their ideas because they think like young people. I probably don't think like a young person anymore. Schools must, not something we should do, if we want to continue to be a leading country, if we want to push to the edge and be the best, we have to teach entrepreneurship. Now, again, I have nothing against teachers. And a matter of fact, if you want to teach somebody to be a teacher, who is better to do that than a teacher themselves? If you want to teach someone to be a teacher, get a teacher to teach them. If you want somebody to be a professor, who better than a professor to teach them to be a professor? But if you want someone to be an entrepreneur, you don't need a teacher or a professor to teach them to be an entrepreneur. You need an entrepreneur. Now, as an entrepreneur, if schools had entrepreneurs come in and teach, especially at the high school level, had entrepreneurs come in and teach, hey, here's where the real world is. See, if you look in the last video, we talked about how that failure is a good thing. And when we fail, we realize we have to do things differently. As an entrepreneur, you realize, well, I'm going to make mistakes, but I've got to figure this out. And sometimes it might not be just laid out that everyone else has done this, because I may be getting into something that no one else has ever gotten into. Until Steve Jobs, no one had ever done what Steve Jobs did. Until Bill Gates, no one ever did what he did. So you see, you may have an idea, but you may have to lay the groundwork. You may be the first one to go down that road, the road less traveled. So we need entrepreneurs to teach, even if it's in the classroom. Schools need to hire entrepreneurs that are entrepreneurs, local and out in the real world, to come in and teach those classes. Technology, entrepreneurship made easy. Now there are probably thousands. If you're a young person and you want to become an entrepreneur, would you have to get that in school? No. But how many young people are going to sit around watching their phones and watching hours of material each day to become an entrepreneur? Probably not a lot. So we do need to motivate them and push them in that direction and let them realize you could make a lot of money. So that is very motivational. But technology really makes entrepreneurship easy. Now, I listened to a guy lot of podcasts. His name is Peter Zine. He's a geopolitical guy. Okay? This guy is amazing. He puts out content all the time. I mean, he has just so much stuff, and the information he gives is golden. He is amazing. I love listening to this guy. But you know what? A lot of his podcast, he may be on a mountain range somewhere out in western United States, and he is holding his phone up. So this right here, he may be holding his phone up and doing a podcast, and I will listen to that, and the content is just amazing. But here's the thing. This guy gets millions of views a month. And many times all he's doing is holding his phone up in the air and filming himself as he goes over information. And he's amazing. How hard is that? Couldn't many of you do that? Couldn't you maybe start your own entrepreneurship programs? Couldn't you do that kind of stuff? You know, it's not hard to be an entrepreneur. Many times you have to think differently, and you have to think on your feet, and you've got to be very energetic, and you've got to realize when there are failures, you overcome those failures. When there's hurdles, you go over them, around them, under them, or through them. You have to succeed. And that's the goal. Set your goals, set your dreams, and then achieve those. One of the reasons we need to get entrepreneurship in schools, specifically in high schools, is we must give young adults the opportunity to succeed. Now, I'm not saying school doesn't do that by any means, but we're missing a key component if we don't really push a lot of ideas in entrepreneurship. You remember Brad Paisley and Keith Urban? They had a video out one time called Start a Band. The idea that all you would need to do is just get a few buddies together, start a band, and you're going to make all kinds of money. And you know what? Brad Paisley and Keith Urban probably made a lot of money from that video and that song. Now, did it take them years to get there? Yes, a lot of hours, a lot of work, but nonetheless, it's a pretty interesting video. But is it true? Yes. Could you maybe take your cell phone, have a few buddies, maybe get together and just have a podcast where you're talking about different subjects? Pretty simple. You film it yourself, you put it out. Yes. May it only, and there are plenty of videos out there that will tell you within 5,000 or less, you could literally start your own podcast for $5,000 or less. Years ago, when people got into business, it was nigh impossible to get into business for less than $100,000. Many times, several $1 million, maybe tens of millions, just to start the business, because you had to have a building, you had to have a lot of material, you had to have this or that. But today, with technology, entrepreneurship is made easy. Listen, get a goal, have some desire. You need to be that guy. You need to have your why. You can do that. You can do it just like anybody else. You can be that guy and you can succeed. Is the school system broken? Yes, but it's the system, not the teachers, not the administrators. One of the key components we need to put into the system is entrepreneurship, because it helps young people and everybody set goals and achieve those goals. If you can do that, you can be redneck rich. Thank you.